good evening. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I guess you could share the link with them. I don't want the wide player base having it, but if a select few players have it and we tell them not to share it, I don't really care. But yeah, I thought the classical music was fun too. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm not gonna name names, but I would imagine a couple of those people I don't care to have in here. Cool. Let's get started. So, there are no player contracts, which means we can do whatever we want. We make that community server money. Back down the community music a little bit. Is that too quiet? Okay. How about that? Is that any better? Okay. Let's see if I can do anything else. I also may have just been mumbling. Where's the thing? There's the thing. Yeah, I think I have it as well. We'll do one more change. All right, that should be it. Cool. Let's get started. Community server 1. Let's go in there. I haven't been in the community server in a minute, but I've seen lots of people getting paid, so let's see if it's a mess. We need to change the text on the screen. What are we doing? What are we doing today? What are we doing today? And why can't I edit that? There we go. We are reviewing mass PR merge and mod updates. We'll go ahead and change that on the other screen too. I eventually need to do this better than what I'm doing right now, but it's all good. Community servers loading really slow. Okay, we'll pop down to test. There we go. You used to be able to be in 2 channels at once with like a modded client or something, or was it regular client? Oh, I've never been able to do that ever in my life. Yeah, I've literally never had that problem before, so I think that's you guys. You had a hack. Cotton. Let's go. Looks like it was already partially harvested. This one? Yep, this one's completely full. Can we find a harvester? Sure, there's gonna be one over here. There we go. So when everyone like me goes and does the harvest cotton contracts, does anyone actually pick up the bales afterwards? That's what I want to know. Oh, who's texting me? Oh, nothing. Cool. So I'm still very quiet. Okay. Check. Oh, I was going the wrong way when I was adjusting the gain. Now, is that better? I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. Okay. Hopefully that's good. If it's not good, let me know. Or if I sound like grainy or whatever. My bad. My bad. You thought I was in the fish tank. I should show you guys my completed fish tank at some point. My completed fish tank looks like a boss. Okay, so how does this work again? Yeah, I was asking. I said whenever people like me do the contracts, that's just harvesting fields. Who actually comes and does the picking up of the bales? Because I really don't think it's going to be anyone. Yeah. So we just have a bunch of bales laying around. So community servers were a great idea when they were in my head. But now that we actually have people doing them, I'm starting to think they might not be that good of an idea. Not that we can't have community servers, but that we have to have them function differently. And the stuff that we're adding to the FOC mod, we might be able to make it so that we're able to use the native contract system. I think that might be something we can do. So yeah, we'll have to see once we get the FOC mod deployed. Speaking of which, dude, it will automatically select equipment. It's been like years since I've touched the native contract system. You expect me to know that? I would be asking you that. Yeah, I would not know the answer to that. I'm pretty sure that it's I'm pretty sure that it's shoot, what was I gonna say? I heard Alaska talking and I got distracted. I'm pretty sure that in the regular contract system, it spawns everything you need. It maintains the field statuses for you and everything. So, I think that'd be fine. And then, I think that we could probably leave the the logging server as is if we still want to have a logging server. Because I don't think any of them will ever be a logging contract. So if someone wants to do logging work, they can. But at the same time, that's not really something that we can audit as much as like whether someone's moving in a harvester. Because we can audit if someone's working by the harvester's moving. But if they're yeah, it's like the contract system we had in 22. Except for instead of being paid for the job, maybe you're still paid by the hour. Because then we can still keep track of vehicle movement. Because that's our anti-cheat system right now. We keep track of if vehicles are moving. I mean, there's probably people watching this at this point that could benefit from knowing that. But we're smarter than you, so don't worry. But yeah, we use vehicle movement. And we could still use that to pay for contracts, and you just pick up a contract and you work that contract. I think we could do a hybrid of the two. The only place that wouldn't work is if, like I said, with logging, because logging is going to be completely different. I would also love, I don't know if we can, I would love to be able to set field state via command too. Let me actually ask the bot that currently is in the code for the FOC mod to see if we can do that. Okay. I need this. Yeah, that's a fine place for it. Oh, I gotta remember how to do the voice to text. So, can you look at the FOC mod for me and see if we still have the ability to set field state with a command? Nice. Let's see, its latest round added telemetry schema, crop per cell point, production recipe, free capacity. Steer. Also, if you can verify that all the necessary stuff that we wanted added was added, that'd be cool. Hey, what's up, Big Joe? Sorry, I just now see in the chat. I was distracted. Thanks for joining us today. We do have quite a few viewers today between YouTube and Twitch, so I wonder who's watching. Alright, what does it say? What does it say? Yes, still has field state command support. It's in field commands. So we just don't have any Discord commands or API to do that just yet. And I don't even know if we've tested it. Actual mutating command, not just telemetry. It does not expose every raw FS25 field state value directly. It supports higher level state presets. Okay. Two things. Can you make sure that it actually works? That would be great, because I'm pretty sure that's FS22 code. I don't think we've tested it or verified it. And also, can you add any additional states or features to that you think we would like to have? Imagine if we could do something like delete all the trees on a parcel. We should ask about that. That'd be sweet. You can? Okay. Is that something that... Well, no, I mean with the mod. Oh, okay. Well, it should know the coordinates of the fields. But I'm talking about like with the Discord commands or API call from the website or whatever. Let's actually go to test 2. Oh, how did I start the radio? What the heck? No, seriously, how did I do that? Oh, 5. Okay, good. I mean, I guess that's fine, but I don't know. I don't know about that. I was just trying to do T. I guess that makes sense. Like, I accidentally hit 5 instead of T. Okay, test 2. So, Joe Mama. I would love a FOC mod command that allows me to delete all trees on a field. Similarly, like delete all fence on a field. Stuff like that. Additional parcel type commands. Can you look into the feasibility of that? If we're not careful, we're gonna have scope creep like crazy and not release the FOC mod tonight. I mean, I feel a little bit bad because Medic told everyone that the June release was going to be out soon, and then I told him no. So it looks like he lied to people, but in reality, I'm just the meanie pants that made it not happen. Yeah, it's as simple as restarting the server, but the problem is we still have to distribute it to people, and it's an additional thing that they're going to have to manually update. So it's a pain in the butt for them. But as much as I don't care if they have to do stuff like that, it'd probably be nice of us to try to just do it all at once. Thanks, Big Joe. Appreciate you saying that. I think you've only been here for a couple days, but we do have a pretty cool community. I think you're hanging out with a bad crowd. You might be getting some bad influence and seeing the worst side of FOC, but yeah. So I thought someone said the AFK on the community server was broken. It looks like this guy went AFK pretty quickly. Did I imagine that, or is that in a ticket somewhere? Hmm. Okay, AFK works. Auto kick does not work, but they don't get paid for non-active time anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. Yeah. That's another change we recently made. We made it so that if you get paid on active time, not just the time that you're logged in. So the player might have just been thinking of that. Big Joe, you might notice sooner than later, I don't know how to play Farming Simulator. I am not proficient in it, and oftentimes I will ask other people what to do or how to do things. Like, I didn't even know that you could, what's it called whenever you cut down the crop and come back and pick it up later? I didn't know you could do that, and that was swath. Yeah, I didn't know that you could swath, and that was a realization last week. So, I am not an FOC connoisseur. I'm just the guy who makes things happen on the back end. And we recently discovered that it can do all kinds of that this AI that we're using can do all kinds of stuff we didn't even know it could do. Like I think it was last week on a stream. It was either on stream or off stream, but it was definitely last week. We realized that it could mess with the FOC mod and then restart the dev server and basically add features to the FOC mod and do the testing for us, which is the biggest problem for the longest time. I didn't want to touch it because the process of like updating the mod and then starting it and then manually running a command was a pain in the butt. But nowadays, like, this guy does everything for me. It's sweet. And whatever he doesn't know how to do, we teach him how to do it, and then magic happens. The only problem is they're going slow today. And I don't have... Oh, I guess I do have extra work. Let me get turned around. I'll start test 3 on something. So, I've been busy. I got a... I'm gonna call it a rescue aquarium. Because it basically was a rescue aquarium. And this is a hot take for people who might not be familiar with aquariums. If you put your aquarium on Facebook Marketplace and you say it comes with the fish, it's stupid cheap, or best offer, I need it gone ASAP, you are not doing the best thing for your fish. I'm sorry. Because someone might just buy it and trash your fish and put whatever they want to in it. So I say that because I rescued fish. this past weekend. On Friday, I went to like an hour and a half away, got an insane deal on a 75-gallon fish tank. I already had a community of fish that I would have more or less chosen, minus the angelfish. Angelfish are cichlids, and cichlids are aggressive, but angelfish are like the least aggressive of the cichlids. So I probably wouldn't have had angelfish in my ideal community aquarium, but I ended up with them anyway. And I actually kind of like them now. But that's taken up a whole lot of my time, because it used to be this stupid, boring aquarium that I guess this guy's daughter came up with the idea of what's put in it and how to design it. But it was like this black rock with neon colored rocks mixed in with it, and one of the angel's fish is the starfire neon pink, and I guess that, like, they just had black lights on it and then like glowed and stuff. But that's not the best thing for the fish. And a few of the loaches definitely prefer sand instead of gravel, so they were doing a bad thing by not having sand in the tank. Long story short, basically just redid the entire thing, all new stuff. It has sand, it has driftwood, it has real plants, has a better filter. They're all living very happily. There's this one guy. He's called a golden dojo loach. So he's basically like a snake, similar to a ropefish. If you think of a ropefish, or like even just a water snake, similar to a water snake. But they're really entertaining. They are more or less like a golden retriever in water. So you can pet it. You can, like, if you can feed it by hand, like if you have a pellet or something, it'll come up and grab it from you. If you like put your hand by it and it swims by, it'll let you pet it. It'll stare at you. It'll like interact with you. But the coolest thing that they do, they have the ability to suck in whatever with their mouth and then shoot it out their gills. So he'll actually dig into the sand really deep. His body will be like this far into the sand, and he's just sucking up the sand and shooting out his gills. And that's how they get food and stuff. But he's able to basically sort stuff in his mouth and then spit it out his gills, which is the coolest thing. And if you watch it, it's really cool. Wagon said, real cheap tank, $800 to redecorate it. Yeah, so I paid $350. I paid $350 for the tank. The sand, you can just get the play sand from Lowe's. You just have to like rinse it out so your water doesn't get really cloudy. Driftwood, I got some of it on Amazon, but the most expensive piece of driftwood was like $40. I got it from my local fish shop. All the plants are the most expensive part. So if you get them from your local fish shop, they're stupid expensive. But if you just go to Petco, they're also stupid expensive, but not as much. I basically spent about $250 on plants, and then another $250 on a filter, because he had a pretty good filter, but I wanted a canister filter, so I switched from a hang-on back to a canister filter. And of course, the intake and output for the canister filter weren't good enough for me, so I got what's called a lily pipe. So instead of being a black pipe, it's a nice clear one. If you Google lily pipe, you'll see what I'm talking about. But it basically makes the filter system disappear. And the tank is both sides. Like one side is the kitchen and one side is the living room. So like see-through, hang-on back won't work. A bunch of stuff looking ugly won't work. I picked up from another guy. I got a 40-gallon breeder, and it came with a bunch of extra stuff, including a CO2 canister. So I have a CO2 canister feeding CO2 to my plants now, which is going to help them basically explode in growth. Alaska said, I've got some tons of driftwood in my backyard. Should have asked. Honestly, I think it would have been more expensive to ship it to me than it would have been for me to get it locally. Anyway, long story short, fish are cool, and they've taken up the last week of my life, basically. Let's see what's going on here. Look through the current master. Lua's, yes, feasible, but needs to be implemented mostly FOC mod first. Yeah, no duh. I shouldn't be so mean. So this one doesn't have the same context that Test does. Test would have the context of working on the mod. Delete trees on a parcel, feasible but higher risk. FS25 has tree plant manager, including tree data, growing trees, split trees. Oh, imagine if we could find any stump in the world and just remove it with a command. So that way, if someone just butchered the map with stumps, we just could pick it up easily. That'd be cool. Delete may or not visually sync cleanly without using the same path as the built-in console movements. Well, some dude said hi to me and I ignored him. My bad. Streaming. No, I'm not gonna tell him I'm streaming. Was not paying attention. Doing good. We'll say how about you in case it comes back. So multiplayer client sync, yeah, I guess that could be a problem. Split trees. Even if we have to restart, that's better than having to do it by hand. Oh, we could do fences, placeables. But yeah, I have tons of driftwood and rocks on my property up in Michigan. It's just we're not up there right now and not planning on going back up there. So ideally, I think that would have been the best place to get it, but I wasn't thinking ahead. Just kind of happened out of nowhere. I wasn't even sure I could do an aquarium with the house rental until I looked at the lease. And the lease basically didn't say anything about whether or not you could have... Well, I guess it said that you could have aquariums. You have to request permission. It didn't say anything about the limits for how big of an aquarium. So I asked permission, and they said you can have up to 300 pounds, including water, fish, and like any substrate or whatever. I was like, 300 pounds is nothing at all. Are you sure that that's actually what the policy is? Because I think you're conflating the 300-pound policy combined for pets with how much water weighs. And they're like, well, how big of an aquarium are you wanting to get? I was like, I don't know. I haven't got one yet. Or they said, how big of an aquarium do you have? I said, I don't know. I haven't got one yet. And they said, well, how big were you thinking? And I said, well, maybe like 40 to 55, and then like a auxiliary tank for like grow out or quarantine or whatever. And then they said, cool, that's fine. The actual limit is just 300 pounds of fish. I said, sweet, there's no way I'm gonna exceed 300 pounds of fish in my aquariums. So I have that in writing. They can't go back on it now. But yeah, there's no way I would ever have 300 pounds of fish in my house. And they're like, yeah, you just can't breed. And I was like, yeah, I wasn't planning on breeding them anyway, at least not intentionally. But, I mean, realistically, am I going to separate my snails if they're climbing on top of each other? Watch all the time to make sure that none of the fish are getting it on? I mean, breeding might accidentally happen. It's not like you can spay or neuter your fish. Yeah, well, you could probably send me a halibut, but I don't think it would do it. I don't think it'd last very long in there. Or it'd probably eat all the rest of the fish in the aquarium. That could potentially be bad. Okay, I like it. Let's take this and put it in one once we're good. Oh, one's still going. So you have access to a whole bunch of stuff that would tell you how to interact with the game via the mod did you consult those sources of information before you came up with these ideas for how to do it? Or where did you get this information from? A halibut is 250 to 300 pounds. That's I did not know that. I guess they do things differently in Alaska. Does anyone keep it up with the whole Ben Schneider situation? We do things differently in Utah. That was a reference to that. We do things differently here. We don't care about constitutional rights or laws. That's a whole mess. I've been keeping up with it because it's interesting. I actually watched the first video I saw of his was, I think, the Scientology one. Well, he's an interesting guy. And the whole saga before it got taken down was hilarious. The stupid stuff that he was doing. Okay, let's see what it said. For feasibility pass, I consulted some of the right sources, but not all the FOC specific sources. Mirrors. Should have before sounding confident. Current repo. Yeah, field and parcel. External FS25. Community Lua doc. Giants API docs. Yeah. This is the right one. I have you working on the same thing in a different channel, and this one I believe is what you're looking at the most in order to get the most accurate information. So it's committing it to its memory, but the actual memory limitations of Hermes is pretty low unless it's using an external memory provider, which I have one configured, but I don't know if it's using it there for that. Yes, that's exactly the source I should treat as primary, blah, 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 yes, blah, blah, yes. So I'll continue this feasibility check. I'll restart from the source mirror. Yeah, do that. Go for it. Yeah. Go for it. What's going on in test one? So it's testing on the dev server. What? It's saying those don't exist on the disk. They definitely exist on the disk. Oh, so try to upload the zip file via the panel, which is fine. It could, but most recently it's been mounting the NFS as read-write, which I think is what it's doing now. that's what it did. And let's look at test 2. All right, yeah, we're gonna start test 3. That's what we're gonna do. So, yeah, actually, that's what I was getting to, but I never actually got to it. So I've been distracted for I don't know how long with fish, like a week, and during this time, every hour on the hour, it's taking a piece of work from a to-do list, basically doing that work for us, and then putting that into a pull request for me to review. So I had, I think, 180 pull requests to review. And I use the AI to help me review them, especially since a bunch of them aren't necessarily super breaking. A lot of them are like accessibility features on the website or like fixing the schema for API calls or stuff like that. So I had a bunch of clinkers working on that for me today like crazy to get caught up. Now I have 18 PRs, I think. But I kind of know what happens today with all the stuff that got merged, but I also have no idea what happened today with all the stuff that got merged. So I was actually going to ask test number 3 what happened today. So we merged like 150 PRs or more today. Can you tell me what all happens, what we got through, and make sure that everything is good? We'll see if it can do a good job of that. And we actually do need to 100% deploy that code. But something cool that we added today, we made the commands to the servers idempotent, which basically means you can send the same command as many times as you want to, or it can fail to process the commands once and it won't do it again. Basically, whenever we sent files to the mod, there's a chance that that file could run twice. We did a bunch of stuff server side to make sure that didn't happen. Occasionally it still could potentially happen, but this will make it so that the same request never runs more than once, allegedly. But there has to be changes both on the FOC mod as well as the actual backend side. So we have to wait for the FOC mod to deploy in order to put that in. Okay. Okay, it's a little bit off. 107 PRs, still a lot. We closed a bunch of them too. They're definitely 180, and then we closed probably about 50 of them because they were duplicates. Yeah, we aren't paying for GitHub Actions, so we already reached our limit. That's fine. So notable ones from the last session: remove tracked backend, debug output artifacts, kept loan schedule response serialization regression coverage, removed ad hoc backend debug entry points, dashboard live server widget accessibility labels. Yeah, this is the kind of crap that I don't really care about. Duplicate application reviews now classified correctly, protected ticket notification preferences. Nothing really cool. Adjusted weather so that it does Fahrenheit, because that bothered me. We're in America, and you could be somewhere besides America, but this is an American primary server. We welcome people from all places, but our money's in American, our units are in American, our fields are acres, not hectares. Because Hector is from Mexico. He's not a unit of measurement. We like Fahrenheit instead of Celsius, even though Celsius is a decent energy drink. Yeah, America. 250 years of America. No, I think that some things we might eventually do a locale for. I could see acres, hectares. We make it so that that honors a preference. If we did the same thing for money, I guess it really wouldn't matter too much because you're just sending the same amount regardless of what the currency is in front of it. But if you do like Indian rupees and you send someone 5,000 Indian rupees, that's nowhere near 5,000 US dollars. If you do euros or British pounds, it's closer, but still not the same. So I think monetarily, we'd always keep it USD, unless we wanted to really confuse people and say that you have to put in your own local currency, the amount, and then what that translates to in the other currency. That could be fun. So like, if you have your currency set to Canadian dollars, whatever, CAD, you would have to do the conversion to what that is in USD in order to pay a contractor. That'd be kind of funny. Someone pinged me an admin chat, but I can't pull that up right now. I gotta look at my phone. Nah, it doesn't matter. He should know that I'm streaming. Why is he pinging me? Alaska, he's too busy to watch my stream. He's got to put his kids to bed and brush his teeth and then brush their teeth and give them baths and, you know, dad stuff. You can't expect him to be serial online like the rest of us. Bottom line after checking, yes, this is feasible, but fences are much more source-backed safe than trees. That's interesting. So mod first parcel cleanup command with dry run first. How would you do a dry run? I guess it would say what it's going to delete. So fence delete is definitely possible. Delete trees is likely, but needs runtime dev validation. I think we just add it anyway and see what happens. Delete arbitrary objects, placeables, and parcels. Technically possible, not recommended. Almost every placeable is going to have a building ID, if not every placeable. So I wonder if we could do delete building based on ID. We should ask it that. Oh, it continues on. What if found a giant source? Explains why, that's fine. Feasible, but not as clean. So, overlap sphere. So basically uses a shape to delete trees. Which I think is what you were saying. Wagon. That you basically have to know the coordinates to delete the trees. Doable. Pretty sure that all fields have coordinates that are saved. So yeah, we have the command bridge, blah, blah, blah. I would not start with delete all objects on parcels. I don't think I asked you to do that. Although that could be useful for selling. If we're selling the parcel, we might actually want to get rid of everything on the parcel. Because sometimes that gets left behind. Slightly different if we're doing player-to-player sell though. So maybe like an optional parameter on it. Let's approach it like this. Um, I would love to do all those things. That sounds great. We can test it live. For placeables, if we have the option to specifically delete a placeable, I think that would be super cool. So, like, we have placeable IDs. If we can use that placeable ID to delete a placeable, that'd be sweet. Oh, I actually pulled a bab in chat. Hate when that happens. Big Joe, love the servers, appreciate the detail. Yeah, I'm sure I'll catch you on the field sometime. I'm going to go AFK real quick, and I'll be right back. I'm back. My bad. Something I ate earlier is not agreeing with me. I'm sure that you guys want to know that. I was approving things as it asked for it while I was away. So test 2 was able to keep moving. Test is still rolling. It's checking the field commands right now to, I guess, see what field statuses are and changing. It's finding issues. So that's good. It's kind of funny. It says I'm patching that now instead of pretending that it passed. Well, I'm glad that you're actually patching it instead of pretending like it worked. I wouldn't expect that you would do that, but now I'm starting to wonder. What else can we have this chew on? Oh yeah, so I put this in test 4. Copy link. At your mama. The latest mod updates are in the zip. We currently do not have our team working out the new repo yet. Can you update the repo with the stuff in here? It is the new one that is in get.foc.vc. It's that one, not the one that's in GitHub proper. They could probably figure that out, but we'll fix it real quick. And actually, test 5, we can probably get started on something too. Let me get turned around. Okay, test 1's still testing with dev server, sweet. Okay, at your mama. For the FOC mod, we use a Lua obfuscator to hide some of the code. We use a one that's run by a bunch of stupid kids on Discord because most of the people doing Lua obfuscation are like Roblox or some stupid stuff like that. So regardless, those people are stupid. We don't really want to use their service anymore. Could we come up with a better way to obfuscate? And then also part of the way that they did their obfuscation, we couldn't do the obfuscation of the commands themselves, so we had to skip those. It'd be nice if we could do those again. You are live on Discord, so, well, on Twitch actually. So if you can avoid telling people exactly how we obfuscate, that would be great. But if you can talk about it in general, that would be cool. Man, I would have hated to type that out. Yeah, seriously, the voice to text thing that I installed last week is so good. And I'm pretty sure Windows has a feature that's native to it, but as far as I know, it sucks. Mac also has one that's native to it, but it also kind of sucks. This one in particular, I think it's called Type Whisper. It's pretty useful. Is that what it's called? Yeah, type whisper. It just runs an LLM locally on your computer. Pretty lightweight one too. I didn't really notice it running, so that's always good. Okay, cool. So we already got a reply back from 5. That was quick. I would recommend moving away from random Discord obfuscator as a service as soon as practical. Keep this high level since you're live. The better path is build our own pipeline, not something we send out to a third party. Yeah. So instead of trying to hide the command yourself, we hide what the command delegates to. I also recommend we add a post-application smoke test. Yeah, because that was something we always had to do. After we obfuscated it, we'd have to run it I don't know how many times and then re-obfuscate it to make sure that it works. So some type of smoke test would be good. But if the AI is always the one doing the changes, it could do a real smoke test using the real server without much hassle. I would hate to have to write a script to do whatever it does. I mean, I'm sure that it could, but I don't think it'd be super reliable. Okay. So what would that look like? Help me understand what we need to do, how long it'll take, how secure it is, etc., etc. I remember trying to use external libraries to do it, and they would just not work. So far, this one is the only one that seemed to have worked. So if you can get started on actually making a working service that we can use, that would be outstanding. Test 4. Yes, approve. Test 1. Okay, so request was consumed. No response file was written. So listener got further and hit runtime issue. No Lua errors. I think it might be, so we added the, well, I can't think of the name. We added the ability to run it multiple times and not have it duplicate. It might be missing the parameter for that. So let's steer it in the right direction. We recently made the commands idempotent, and there has to be an identifier for the idempotency, I believe. That might be why you're not getting a reply back. We made the commands item button. Okay, let's fix that. Idempotent. Oh, come on. I think the bot crashed. Asking it to do too many things at once. Yeah, it did. We'll have to give it a minute to catch up. I think I'm done with classical. I think we should switch to something else. What is this? forest noises. Let's see. Let's see what we think about it. Oh, I am showing the global server chat for some reason. That's my bad habits. Flop around. Like, I'll just go to those channels randomly whenever I'm not doing anything. And I just forget that I'm streaming. So I stream channels. Some people might not even realize we have a global server chat channel. Now you know. And knowing is half the battle. So are literally all the fields on this cotton? Not all of them, but it looks like the top right quadrant. What field did I do the other day? Was it like 96? I feel like it was something down here. Kind of just curious if anyone actually picked up the bales. Is anyone even doing anything down here? Okay, forest is pretty boring. I would actually be curious if it can tell me what is actually done on this server. Where am I at? What field was I on? 28? Yeah, that's me. Maybe that's something that we'll ask it to. Still waiting for it to come back. Oh, it's back now. Good. Identified the correct repo. Yes. Imported all mod zip packages. Staged the resulting changes. The actual change content. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Try verification again. Oh. Try verification again. You crashed, so I couldn't click it. So I kind of click it. Test 5. Yes, I can start building this, but hit the local safety gate. Yeah. Yeah, you crashed whenever I was trying to approve it. Go ahead and ask again. I'll approve. Also, your timelines are wrong. Remember, you're an AI. You don't have to do food breaks or whatever, and you do things a lot quicker. So those timelines are crap. Good call. The command listener is logging the command success, but the response file path isn't given. So log success plus telemetry. I meant idempotent. You might need a request ID with it to work. Approve. Did I not tell it to go again, or did it already do it? Already did it. LFS uploads 16 objects successfully. Cool. Alright, so those are where they belong. That way when we get you guys actually working off of that, the source is up to date with what it should be. I guess it wants me to go this way. Okay. Approve, create branch, also open a PR. Let's do 2. Idempotent request ID. Got it. I just detected a checkout was moved again underneath of me. Yeah, that's happening. Steer. Yes, another agent is working on obfuscation right now, so you guys are probably walking on top of each other. I believe you can just make a copy of the repo somewhere else and then work on that, as opposed to continuing to undo each other's work. See, whenever it does all the other stuff, I didn't really teach it to make a copy of the repo, but it seemed to do that on its own. But for some reason, these two agents aren't doing a copy of the repo to do it. And why did steer not work? Is it crashing again? It's crashing so much. If we go to PVE2, let's look at its usage. Let me switch real quick. Okay, it's on PV2. Hermes. I mean, it's using a decent amount of memory. Using a decent amount of CPU, but it's got 2 CPUs allocated to it. I guess we could give it some more memory. But I don't want to take it down yet. Is it this way? Yeah, there we go. Okay, test 2. Yeah, it was shutting down. That's fine. Let's try to steer it again. There we go. What did it have to change though? Side effect fix is clean. Oh, something fertilized. Okay, cool. And 5 is working on the obfuscation. 4 is doing nothing currently. 3 is doing nothing currently. 2 is working on the delete placeables and stuff. Cool. Here's something. Actually, let's see what 2 did. Okay, 2's not doing anything. Let's go to 4. Let's say if I wanted you to do an update for me, what information are you currently missing? To clarify, FS25 update. There is a script for that that will do almost the entire process. So please tell me what information you currently do not have or what access you are currently missing to do that successfully. Okay, so this literally didn't understand what it was doing when it came back. What was it doing? Okay. Gotcha, mama. You were working on the FOC mod, specifically setting, checking field state, making sure that it works, and making sure that it supports all the states that we might want to set it to. So future state community servers using native contract system. We give people contracts to pick from. Oh, then we go back to the whole thing where I don't want to do a plow contract, so the plow contracts just sit there. Or I don't want to do the harvest sugar beets contract, so the harvest sugar beets contract just sits there. So we'd have to do the hourly wage based on the work being done. And then we can figure out the reasonable, I guess we can determine roughly how long it should take someone to complete it based on the information that we have available. Because we know the working speed of vehicles, we know how wide their implements are. So we could determine realistically how long it should take. And if they are within a certain threshold of how long it should take, they're good. We could let them cancel midway. We just have to make sure the contract gets canceled, because then it'll basically reset field state, I'm pretty sure. I guess maybe. Oh. But the worst thing was people just cherry picking the contracts they want to do, which is kind of what happens here. People like me just cherry pick, oh yeah, I want to do something AFK, I'm going to harvest some cotton. To be fair, I'm trying to do other stuff while I'm working, so doing stuff like picking up bales would be a little bit more difficult for me. But, yeah. Got to put some more thought into that one. Here's what we currently do know and what's still missing. Have a script specifically to that. It needs access to PVE nodes. Do I run the update on dev, or do you run the update on dev? I think I run the update on dev. So, I mean, we could still... I mean, this... Okay. So this process, I can run it from my laptop just fine. I can do the update to dev live, and then it just copies it to the other servers. And we basically just tell it which ones to restart and when. I still don't want to give it that kind of broad-reaching access. That seems like a bad idea. But I think we might be able to do server updates tonight. It's 8:20. Let's test with dev server first to make sure that dev server comes back up, and then we will see if we want to do those. So let's see. Nice. Okay. So this will actually be something that none of you have seen before. Don't get too excited. So we'll go ahead and kill this here. And then start game should give us a... Can I not do that? Do I know the pseudo password for this? I'm guessing no. Why is it trying to do sudo? Start game. Oh, because it's restarting the server. That's optional. Huh. Nice. It's printing in plain text the VNC password right now. Cool. Well, we'll recycle that. And then it's also gated behind access that people can't get to anyway, which is fine. So start server. Let's do a CPU start server to start Explorer. Still not the right thing. Am I just misremembering how we're doing this now? Let's go back. Let's see. Most likely missing piece is not repo access. It's live PV root plus VNC plus update installer access. Let me look at my laptop real quick. Because we literally just did this, and I just don't remember how we did it. And I don't even see it here either. Okay. I'm pretty sure we have it documented somewhere. I just tried to get into VNC and do the update there. For some reason, it's not letting me start it. Can you remind me how we normally do the updates on dev server first? We'll poke back at the browser again. Because that shouldn't be... I guess, kind of. So whenever it does its entry point, it does that. And we can copy this. Let's see, system CTL. No, system D, system FS25 server. Okay, so yeah, that's the wine prefix. It's kind of giving me the info I want, but not really. So wine prefix is this, which you probably don't even need to specify. Okay. So we'll just do wine explorer.exe. Okay. Drive C. There it is. Okay, now we're in business. had a process for updating it for the longest time that just completely changed recently. Oh, we have a problem. I should have... I missed a step. Oh, that's funny. So, it is currently updating... Okay, we gotta stop this. Cancel, cancel, cancel. Let's just kill it. Is that on PvE1? It's on PvE1. It is currently updating the 19 version of the game, 1.19. Raffle. So yes, let's stop this server. So we have to change something. And normally I have the AI change it, but I can't have it do that right now. So this right here, MNT server files, FS25 game versions. It actually could do this for me right now, kind of. I have to change what path it's pointing to, which I cannot change. Fun. Okay, let me have something change it on my laptop real quick. FS25 game to 1.20. Order to do that, we have to adjust the mount point of 190 on PvE1 to 1.20.0.0 and copy 1.19.0.0 to that folder. Then update the mount point. Please assist. I think I stopped it before it broke anything. Why is it saying anything about 199? I guess maybe that was our process at some point. Sure, delete. Try again. I'm watching. Try again. I am watching. At least it's using its own copy of the repo now. Oh, we're nearly at our limit for 5 hours. I didn't realize we've been doing so much work. We'll reset at 10 o'clock. We have 85% remaining for the week. Interesting. Well, I guess we'll see how long our credits last. Okay, 190 should have the correct configuration now. Yeah, it's showing 120. We'll start back up. It says read only 1 though. It needs to be read only 0. So I guess it's with us reaching our limit here shortly. I don't think I'm going to start the game update itself until probably after 10 o'clock. Because I couldn't be bothered to do these updates myself. But we should still be able to do mod updates pretty easily. Just waiting on the FOC mod to be ready. But this might actually exhaust the credits for that before that's ready too. Hopefully not. So, it made us a parcel cleanup game command. Am I showing the right view? Yeah. Expose backend wrappers. Start dry one. Parcel cleanup commands. So we have a dry run. You can do fences. Do trees. Not placeables, doesn't seem. Oh no, it does. Delete placeable by unique ID. Okay, I think that's actually using our identifier, which is cool. So reading scope. Scope would be farmland. Field ID. So how is it collecting trees? Because it doesn't really look like it's using the dimensions, the coordinates of the fields. What is self dots collect trees? Terrain size. Well, that just if it's 4x or not. Makes a tree collection. How's that work? Or does it collect all trees and then it does something? Oh, that's probably why there's a is point in field partition. So it literally gets all of the trees. And then it determines which ones to delete. Okay, that's cool. I am on board. So test 1 is still rolling. I think we're gonna put test 5 on hold because we don't need the obfuscator for what we've got. We can just use the one that we already use. We can pick that up when credits are less of an issue. I think it's still fighting with someone else on this repo somehow. PR556 is confirmed on the new head. 556. Okay, field mount state command pass pushed. Now supports everything, basically. Love it. Okay. Let's get 556 merged. That is insane. It's over 3,000 lines of code that were added. I can't even imagine someone doing that by hand, especially with the limited documentation. Okay, let's merge that. We are now mounted as read-only 0, which means that we can modify the files. So we'll start that back up. Have to log in again. I don't even have that screen shown right now. So dev server is mounted with read-only 0, which means that we can install it. Once that boots back up, I will pull back up VNC and we will get this rolling. Yep, okay, let's switch screens. So same dealio as before. Yes, install. Okay, Edjo Mama, can you please do the obfuscation and a final test to make sure, why am I doing this? Sure that no obfuscation errors are existing in the logs. Installation aborted. Please try again. I think that might be because of this. Let's delete this folder. That was our partial installation. We are officially out of codex usage. RIP. Until 1 hour and 15 minutes from now. I guess we could do some of it the old-fashioned way, but that doesn't sound fun. What can we do easily? Can easily upload it to R2. Synchronization, though. Synchronization we could do not very easily again. Well, I guess we're going to be ending our stream at 9 o'clock tonight and waiting. I don't know if I'll do updates and game updates tonight. We'll have to see. Why is installation aborting still? I think the problem is that I was so backed up on PRs that we just burnt a whole bunch of credits when we were reviewing all those PRs so that we could get them merged. So we'll do it like this. We'll do a repair. Can we do a repair? Verify install. Guess we can finish looking at the pull request. Still got some stuff we can work on. Dashboard has realtor pages at realtor, but several API calls still targeted. Parcels realtor, which duplicates the parcel's namespace. Makes the API harder to document and consume, yes. So what does it do? Canonical realtor only backend routes under API v1 router for request lists on hold parcels, manual actions, init actions, parcel activation. Seems pretty reasonable. What's the conflict? User property schema, realtor transfer user schema. We're gonna have Copilot do that one. Makes it back in push notifications stop fail close when APN's FCM delivery is not configured. So we don't even use push notifications in this manner currently. This literally does nothing useful. But I don't care. It's not going to hurt anything. Except incoming change. So the conflicts are only just a logger. Incoming, incoming. And nope. Current change. Current change. Adds canonical realtor back and routes. Didn't the other one just do this? I think the other one did this. This is a duplicate. Or, oh, I just closed the one that Copilot was working on. That's what happened. My bad, Copilot. You can keep working. Centralized crop transfer, pricing config. We still never did this. Is there still an appetite for charging for crop transfers? I feel like it's been a while since we've had a controversy, so we could probably do it. Where, where's Wagon saying no at? I didn't see him say no. Oh, did I miss it? Hang on, hang on. Oh, my bad, my bad. So there's not an appetite for crop transfer fees. I think that it's been a while since we've had a controversy, so we could have a controversy again. I don't think that was a Drew dream. I think he might have came up with the idea. I was the one that implemented it. I don't know if it was his dream though. Are you saying no just purely from a perspective of you don't want to pay transfer fees? Or do you think that there is a reason why we shouldn't? Take your time, Wagon. Maybe revisit vehicle transfer fees first. I guess if we're going to change one, we'd change both at the same time. I could see an argument for not doing it because the economy has been working this way for so long that it would be it would disadvantage people that haven't prestiged yet, but would basically not have an effect on people who have already prestiged long term. It would have an effect on them short term, but it wouldn't affect how quickly they prestige. Then again, there are lots of economic impacts that we've made that affects people. People who started earlier had it easier than people who started later. And some things vice versa, right? Our economy started really slow, so people had to work a lot harder to get started at the very beginning, versus people that start now, it's a lot easier for them to get started. You blue chip link, bye-bye. We'll ban you. And delete your crap. Okay. Yes, Wagon. Cheap equipment is expensive to transfer. I personally like that. I would like to hear your opinion on why that should change. My thought is people shouldn't be transferring cheap equipment. They should just be selling it NPC. People shouldn't be leasing it to other people because they're cheap. It's cheap equipment. Like the market wouldn't reward selling cheap equipment in real life, and it probably wouldn't here. Economy revolves around working together and transferring crops. Hate to discourage that aspect of it, but what benefit does transferring cheap equipment really give you? If it's really that cheap, you could lease it from NPC. We already have what I would consider borderline economic abuse, even cross server, definitely same server, providing people a way to easily do more economic abuse doesn't seem beneficial. Granted, if we can continue to cut down on that with AI aided snitching, I think that could be something further discussed. But like if we're talking about really cheap equipment, so if there was something that really made a lot of sense, I think it would be worth discussing. But if we're transferring a $50,000 piece of equipment that potentially could get lost, because that happens a lot, someone make a ticket, like we don't need more transfers to create more tickets. And I don't think that the benefit outweighs any risk for cheap equipment. That said, I'm not going to be Drew. I don't do a lot of the tickets. I do touch them a lot more than Drew does, but I'm not going to speak on your behalf and say that you don't want to do the tickets, right? If you want the additional vehicle transfer tickets, or you think that we want additional to look at stuff, like let's just say, for example, someone leaves FOC in a rage. They want to give away a bunch of wealth. They are less likely to give away a bunch of wealth whenever there are fees associated with the transfer. At least of vehicles, right? And that vehicles are one way that we don't typically catch wealth transfer. It's a lot easier to catch it with money transfers. And that's something that we could work around too. We could make every money transfer associated with some type of player contract or vehicle transfer or crop transfer, but we're not there right now. So realistically, I think I'd like to see that too before we revisit vehicle fees. That's my 2 cents. I get the equipment side and agree with what you're saying. If we are going to look at crop transfer trees, it's going to take a lot of thought. Yeah, I agree on that, but I think everyone agreed on it once upon a time. We did the math for it. We did it based on weight and crop type. I think everyone was happy with them. That said, I'm not like, let's implement crop transfer fees right now. Maybe that's like a FS27 thing. I was just asking. I'm just asking questions. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. We don't use them anyway. That's what caused the conversation about crop transfer fees. I wonder if Copilot stopped working on this. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't want to touch that. Try again. Fix with Copilot. I won't close it this time. Make JWT blacklist revocation idempotent. Keeps repeated logout token revocation tips. Yeah, I could see that being true. The main downside with doing this many pull requests a day that you haven't completely looked at means that we're probably gonna basically create a bunch of bugs that people are gonna find and then report to us, and they'll have to fix. I don't think we've been doing too many things that would break too much stuff, but we did touch realtor API routes. So theoretically, realtors could be adversely affected. Classified community timesheet errors. Yeah, this is more like 422 clarification. Those are all good. Speaking of which, if we had a code fix in place, it would have been super helpful with the ticket about the bid the other day. Maybe that was today. Someone saying that they couldn't bid, they were getting a generic error, but the UI just wasn't passing through the error that was useful. So these 422s are actually doing good things. It's just we need to make sure the UI surfaces the error that comes up. Yeah, I saw this one earlier. This PR is dangerous. It adds a contract creation form. Sounds great in theory, but as soon as we do that, we have to do one of two things, or maybe both things. We have to have a web view that becomes the new default for looking for player contracts, or we have to make sure that when someone creates a contract on web, it creates the contract on Discord, and that contract on Discord, the buttons work properly. So how does it handle that? Yeah, risk high. It was very accurate with that. So it addresses it by making a dashboard create contract, validates it, refreshes the contract list after success, and add focus form coverage. But in nowhere does it make the contract in the bot, nor does it like decommission the bot contract. So if we just merge this right now without paying any attention to it, we would end up with two different places that people are posting contracts, which would not be a good thing. So since we're out of credits, we can actually ask Copilot to help us here. Let me stop and turn around. Can you please look at this PR and look at how player contracts currently work in the bot, and see if we can add a way to post the contracts in Discord in the same channel that the bot does, or decommission the bot player contracts channel and instead show them on the dashboard. Let's see what it says. Okay, Copilot isn't even working because it uses GitHub Actions. I didn't realize that. Cool. I'll just be happy when I move off of GitHub. Preserve API status in command logs. So let's capture API client HP status. Adds regression assertions for farm and garage commands, so logged API status comes from normalized response. Records progress against bot audit finding for all command logs that misreport. I think that was intentional. Command logger. Oh, I guess maybe not. I don't remember having command status in that, or HP status in that response though. 4, 500. That's fine. Scope item put C keys by route. Pussy money moving commands are starting to forward Discord interaction IDs as keys. I think we changed the way this works. I'm gonna trash this PR. If it decides that it still needs it, it'll recreate it based on the new code. But I think the way that we went with it, that's not necessary anymore. Pretty sure they're generated on the back end. Routes audit server failure log diagnostics through shared backend logger. Yes, everything should no longer use console. Made changes. Why are you requesting changes? CI is failing. That's not your problem. Let's go. Make point adjustments atomic. I could have sworn we already did this. I know we did it with transactions for money. I guess we didn't do it with... Wait. Why are there two others? Oh, because there were duplicates. Okay, that's why. So it kept the most recent one, which makes sense. That's why it looked familiar, because I saw the name before. Identity aware rate limiting. This I thought we also did. Request changes. I'm not gonna touch this one for now. What did we decide on this one? We're gonna close this one. Why didn't it close? There we go. Audit versioned API requests safely. Okay, so the logger is basically logging too much. And the excluder for the logger was not handling V1. Makes sense. Same thing. I feel like this is not needed. I'm gonna delete it. I'm gonna close this, and it can reopen it if it thinks that we need it. Well, actually, no. I don't know if this one was based off of. Hang on. This doesn't seem like it was based off of a request. Did it do this as part of the other work? Let's look at this one too. You know, closed. I'm gonna leave that one. I'm gonna leave this one too. Because it shouldn't need to do anything on this side. It should be handled at the lower level. So I'm very confused at why it's making PRs for that. So is it? Yeah, I don't think we need that. I'll have the clanker look at those once we get it back. Guard web refresh affordances. Yeah, it added a whole bunch of refresh buttons everywhere. I didn't like it. I let it roll. This is allegedly making it so that there's not refresh buttons everywhere. But realistically, I feel like we don't need refresh buttons. I think we can just automatically refresh the page. Yeah, I'm not going to do another one of those right now. We're going to use that as our kickoff point for automatic refreshing. Route banker errors through logger. Yes, this is another easy one. Because we want everything to go through our log client and not just console.error. And that is so that Hermes can see every single log that happens. Did this ever finish? Finally found out there's a problem. Alright, well, this will continue on in the background. I'm done with this field, so I think it's a good stopping point. A little bit more boring of a stream, in my opinion, tonight. Didn't get as much done as we wanted to, because we hit our rate limit. I didn't want to pay any extra money. But, appreciate you guys hanging out. For those who are in the FLC community, mod updates will probably still happen tonight. Server updates might or might not happen, depends on how sleepy I get. And yeah, see you guys on Friday. Have a good evening, everybody.